The Drift Podcast can be found at driftsociably.com.
Now it's time for From the Cast, a bit of information from one of the boating industry's fastest growing podcasts. This time, Captain Clint Allen on the dangers and prevention of boat fires.
Today we're going to talk about something serious, boat fires. You've seen plenty. We all know they can happen. We're going to talk about the 5 causes or the main causes of boat fires. And we know you just fought one in a multi-million-dollar yacht, New Bedford, Massachusetts. And I was around that fire and I saw the black smoke, and it burned for quite some time. And when fiberglass and plastics are burning, it's not a good thing, obviously. So what did you do to, how was that fire fought? What did you guys do to fight that fire?
We were actually just asked to see if we could help out. We happened to be in the area, and the more water we could put on it, the better. So they asked us if we had firefighting capability, and the answer was yes, so that's how we got involved.
So you use your pumps?
Yeah, just the same pumps that we use to if you were sinking.
Right.
We have a attachment hose and a fire nozzle that goes on it.
Okay.
And it's basically just it's not high pressure like a actual firefighting hose, but it can do the job, pump some water.
Because we've seen situations where entire marinas go up.
Yeah, the domino effect, and especially depending when it starts, if there are people in the marina at the time, like this particular incident, you get warning. But if that would have happened at 10 o'clock at night,
right,
by the time the authorities are notified, it may have already caught another boat on fire, depending on the wind direction, and then it just goes like dominoes.
Yeah, and people are sleeping on boats, they're liverboards.
Yeah, yep.
You know, a boat can be a dangerous place when there's fire and smoke.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people don't realize that in most boats, I don't know if it's build code on a boat or what it is, that hatch below should be big enough to act as an escape hatch,
sure.
Right?
Yeah. You could encounter a situation where you go out your gangway and it's fire.
Right.
If that's where your engine's located or whatever.
Most likely that's where it's going to be.
Right. So yeah, that's a good thought. And I think all hatches, I don't know if purposely, I would imagine probably at some point they realize that needs to be big enough for an escape.
Yeah.
So.
And that's a good thing to look at on your vessel. Like think to yourself, all right, if I'm asleep below and I can't get out and aft is blocked and there's fire, how do I get out of this boat?
Right.
Because you may say, there's an escape hatch or a hatch large enough to escape, but do I have something to step on to get out of that hatch in a panic situation? And maybe a fire drill is not a bad idea on a boat.
Just going to say maybe a good review of that. God forbid it ever happens, but you need to realize if you can escape. Yeah. I guess that's a real good thought. If you're not strong enough to pull yourself up through the hatch,
Yeah. So you're underway, and let's say there's a boat fire. Try to put it out? Do you just don your PFDs and jump into the water and hope the boat flows away from you? I mean, what have you encountered that?
So I suppose if you contact the Coast Guard, they're going to advise you to. They don't want you to get in further trouble, so they're ready. Do you have life jackets available? Yep. Don them. Perhaps be ready to get in the water. Me personally, I'm going to try and put the fire out.
Do you have an extinguisher or auto extinguisher on the boat?
But it's risky because if it's an engine room fire, the minute you supply air to it, you open the hatch and supply air, it can flame up, and become more dangerous. So, but it's tough. If you don't open it, what are you going to do? It's going to keep burning.
Right.
So it's a tough decision to make. But I'd have a fire extinguisher prepared and give it a shot. You can't close the engine box.
Right.
Try to suffocate it.
And while you're doing it, have your guests and family ready to go.
Right.
My fire extinguisher's probably been on my boat for a couple of years. How often should you check that? Every season to make sure is there a date on the fire extinguisher or?
There is a date, and they're actually, I think they're like 10-year that they're good, but manufacturer date. But there's a gauge on it, and it has a good and bad indicator. And if they're in the green still, I'll still keep them, but I will observe the manufacturer's date and discard them or put them aside as used and get a new one.
So assess situations wherever you are. If you're in your marina, try to put it out. If you have to leave, if you feel like it's getting away from you, alert as many folks as you can while you leave the marina, especially if it's at night. There could be people living on boats. We've seen marinas go up. Be smart about fire protection, and keep an eye on things. Use your nose, right?
If, like you said earlier on in this segment, you said perhaps a fire drill.
Yeah, good point.
For your family, it's good to run through the scenarios.
Clint,
keep you safe.
As usual, thank you, and great information.
Thank you.
Valuable information as always there, Clint. And remember to follow the Drift podcast at driftsociably.com and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Drift has been brought to you by Boat US. Better boating starts here. Join today.